And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Well, September 22nd, today, is the day of the autumnal equinox. Therefore, summer ends and fall begins this evening at 10:50 p.m. So Saturday will be the first full day of fall and won't be too bad around the state here for the first day of the fall. And for the, October temperature outlook here for the state of Alaska, looking to be possibly above normal here over the northwest and northern interiors, north slope to the Arctic coast, and a little above normal possibly here, or a better chance of it being, or less of a chance of it being above normal here, south central Alaska, and then equal chances here for the Copper River Basin, southeast coastal areas there. And for precipitation, could be a little on the damper side than normal here over the west and northern areas to go along with the warmer temperatures. And then right around normal here, either side, about normal here for the eastern interior, south central Alaska, Kodiak, Alaska Peninsula, and the Panhandle. And then for the October, November, December temperature outlook here, looking to be much above normal for the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast there in the North Slope, with temperatures expecting to be above normal for the remainder of the state, as well as the Panhandle. And precipitation about the same as what we saw for October through December. Best chance of above normal precipitation here in the north and out to the west, central and southern part of the state, as well as the Panhandle. Right around normal, or maybe a little below or a little above there, but that's how it looks at this point in time. And for the satellite imagery here, here's a slow-moving frontal system over the southeast coast. It brought all the rain yesterday and last night. Starting to taper off now. In fact, the heavier amounts today were down over the southern southeast coast. Another surge rotating in there earlier this afternoon. Low pressure right off the coast there. A lot of clouds up over the central and northern interior, especially the eastern Arctic coast, but clearing out here with some high pressure in over the western interior. Still a lot of clouds, but some breaks definitely, especially south central Alaska today, down to Kodiak Island, and then a weakening front coming into the coast, kind of hanging up right along the coastline there, bringing a little bit of moisture to St. Lawrence Island, down to Nunivak Island, and little, if anything, in toward the Alaska Peninsula there. And this low still hanging back to the west. Southern Bering Sea just getting grazed by this moisture here that's mostly to the south of the area. Rolling this through again, you can see that that's mostly shifting eastward here with the main flow, and this front really washing out, but there's going to be a band of moisture there probably through the weekend, keeping it kind of unsettled, cloudy, and occasionally damp there along the southwest coast of St. Lawrence Island. Otherwise, a lot of clearing over the interior today with all of the precipitation concentrated down here over the Panhandle. But again, amounts a lot lighter than they were yesterday. In fact, 12-hour amounts here anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch, heaviest over the southern Panhandle with lighter amounts up to the north there. And then cutting off just west of Yakutat, dry for the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, and into the Copper River Basin for the most part there, especially this afternoon. And for tonight, you can see this weak trough keeps a chance of light rain or showers in a narrow band there right along the southwest coast and down to the Alaska Peninsula, maybe Bristol Bay, southwestern Bristol Bay, mainly along the peninsula here. Dry for the Aleutians. Very light wind conditions with variably cloudy skies here over much of interior Alaska. Still the possibility of isolated snow showers or flurries there for the Brooks Range, maybe the eastern North Slope, Arctic coastal areas, but whatever falls will be quite light. And precipitation becoming a lot more showery here over the Panhandle, a little more numerous showers over the southern southeast coast than to the north there. And some of this moisture lingering right along or just off the North Gulf Coast keeps a threat of some moisture going there tonight. Otherwise dry over the Aleutians and the southern Bering Sea with fairly light winds. That continues into Saturday, first day of the weekend, looking pretty good out here. Weak low, trough, keeps a chance of moisture along the southwest coast, Nunivak Island, maybe St. Lawrence Island, possibly the Pueblos. Could see a few showers around on Saturday. Winds, though, on the light side, maybe 10 to 20 miles an hour out of the west, and some shower activity possible for the Alaska Peninsula. Maybe some of this slipping up into Kodiak Island with a thing just to the southwest there. Otherwise, partly sunny out over the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, Seward Peninsula. Mostly sunny over the western central interior, right on down into south central Alaska. Again, this persistent weak low on the Gulf there may circulate some moisture back to the west, bringing a few showers into the coastal areas of the Kenai Peninsula, maybe into Resurrection Bay possibly. Some clouds on up into the Seward area, and a chance of showers along the North Gulf Coast. And it stays unsettled, mostly cloudy with some showers for the Panhandle, and still an upper level trough here over the eastern interior. So that's going to keep a chance of rain or snow showers from the Alaska range up across the upper Tanana Valley, 40-mile country into the Yukon Flats, up toward and mainly over toward Old Crow there with a bulk of the moisture over in Canada. And again, a weak trough due to a low up over the Arctic Ocean. Again, a few skiffs of snow possible mainly for the central Arctic coast, and that continues into Sunday as well. But again, nothing very measurable at all. And still some shower activity possible with this persistent upper trough here over the eastern part of the state. That's going to be mostly along the Alaska range up to maybe Eagle, but the bulk of the moisture over in the Yukon. And then winds might increase a little bit here along the central and south coast of the Panhandle in the afternoon due to this trough swinging west-northwestward around a pretty strong low there, well south of the Queen Charlotte Islands. So shower chances hang in over the southern Panhandle, dry to the north with increasing chances of sunshine. The farther north you go up toward Juneau, Haines, maybe Skagway. A lot of good sunshine here in the central interior. Becoming mostly cloudy for the North Gulf Coast, maybe, but again, winds very light across all the state here, even out over the Bering Sea and the Aleutians, very light wind conditions. Still a chance of some light precipitation along the southwest coast with this low that's kind of stuck in place there, or actually develops over Nunivak Island, but the main trough here is still in place, remnants of that weakened front. And another weak system brings some showers eastward there across the central Aleutians. But again, wind's not much of a factor at all with even that feature. And going to low temperatures for tonight, 40s for the Panhandle. Otherwise, 20s north of the Alaska range here with 30s south of the mountains. Near 40 for Kodiak. And in the 30s for Bristol Bay, near 40 out along the southwest coast to St. Lawrence Island. Mid-40s for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians. And for the highs tomorrow, upper 40s to lower 50s here in the west and southwest interior. Mid-40s, Seward Peninsula, St. Lawrence Island. 50s for the Pribilofs and the Aleutians. And right around 50 for Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island. 50 to 55 here, or mainly lower 50s, south central Alaska with a lot of sunshine. And near 50 in the Copper River Basin. In the 50s, mid to upper for the Panhandle. 40s, central interior. 30s from the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast. And then the lows, Sunday morning, in the 20s here over the eastern and central interior, 20 to 25 for the Brooks Range, and in the 20s for the North Slope to lower 30s for the central coast, and lows in the 40s for the Panhandle, 30s southern Alaska, 40s out over the Bering Sea, followed by highs again, 50s, or in some cases pushing 60 down toward Craig Hawak. Lower 50s Copper River Basin, 50 to 55, south central Alaska. Lower 50s Bristol Bay, Kuskokwim Delta. In the 40s here through the central part of the state. Lower 30s in the Brooks Range, and mid to upper 30s for the North Slope, and then mid 30s for the Arctic coast. Lower 50s out over the Bering Sea, mid 50s for the central Aleutians.